Welcome to the Burn Boot Camp podcast, where you'll find the motivation, inspiration, and empowerment that leads to real transformation, the lifelong kind. Keep listening and keep moving, Burn Nation.
I'm a father, I was just curious, Devan, if building a community as strong as Burn has impacted you as a father.
100% it has. I think Burn has prepared me for fatherhood in a sense, because when you have children, you have responsibility, and when you have members, you have responsibility. And for me, here's the difference. I didn't give my moms and dads enough credit before I had kids as I do now for all of the, what I used to think would be like rationale or justification or like excuses, like, come on, like, don't be lazy, just do it. Like, how hard is it to like take 1 hour to meal prep on a Sunday? Is hard when you have 3 kids and, you have a full-time job and, especially with 3. For us, it's like one is always needing attention. And so it's really helped, I think, shape the longevity of the brand. Like to see, because my kids will never grow up the way I grew up, right? The way I grew up was hard and dark, right? My father in and out of jail, in and out of prison. He spent like 5 years in just my adolescent childhood locked up. 1 year when I was in junior high, like that was like a really significant year for me, and that was really hard because when you're 12 or 13 years old and you're just starting to learn what a reputation and a personality is, and then your reputation and personality is designed not by you but by your father, so now you have this last name and you're getting 12 and 13 and you're good at sports like I was, and now it's like, oh, now I have this like elephant on my back of being the troublemaker, like the criminal's kid. And I don't want to ever have my children have reasons to have shame or doubt about their father. And so it's really shaped the longevity for my career to say, man, reputations are finite. I watched my dad go from like a McDonald's All-American basketball player, like the most loved person in our community, to like one of the most hated. And it was sucked because he was really popular because he was really good at sports. And so then 10, 12, 20 years down the line when he was known for other things, it was very difficult. And so I never want my kids to have a reputation, a negative reputation that was shaped on the back of my actions, right? And I think that's unfair to put them in that situation. So that is how I see it most correlating. And then at the end of the day, when Cameron was born, like, it's my daughter, she made me a daddy, and like my inspiration, my purpose, whatever that God thing is that makes you tingle and you know it's right, like at the moment she was born, it was like tears of motivation, like, which is very rare when you get actual tears of motivation because you're so hungry for it. And from that day forward, I was like, okay, we're unstoppable. Why can I say that? Because it's our choice to be. Because now we have a reason to be, when before it was just really serving us and our relationship and our ambition. Now you have these other people that are involved, and the stakes are way higher for me. So I just never want them to see the environment that I grew up in, and I want them to see the complete opposite one. Do you have children?
Yeah, 2 girls.
Do you have 2 girls?
2 girls.
Is it hard? Is it hard for you now, like in terms of like adjusting to the schedule? I know you're stepping into a head trainer role, right?
Yeah.
From a support trainer, if I'm correct. Like when we met in Burlington.
Right?
Training manager.
Training manager. Okay, awesome.
I trained a lot of camps like as a support trainer.
Well, we met in Burlington. You were support training.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
As a support trainer, I trained like 18 to 20 camps
Yeah.
already anyway. So it's not like I'm stepping up to like train that many more camps. The only time that it's difficult is like during the school year where, they're at school all day, and then I have to train in the afternoons, and I get to see them for maybe like 30, 45 minutes before they go to bed. Mm-hmm. So you really get to spend like weekends with them. Summertimes are great, because you got, if they're home or with grandparents during the day, or if they're at summer camp, if I'm not training, I can see them during the day. But, that school year schedule makes it a little bit more difficult. So kind of feel guilty where you don't want to train as many afternoons, then at the same time wanting to be responsible and, support your gym at the same time. So.
Morgan's got some good stuff about this, but I think the last thing that I'll say, and maybe this is a philosophy that you can take away, it's just really helped me to kind of put in perspective what success looks like as a father and an entrepreneur and a husband and a leader. And to me, it's something along the lines of, I'm committed to having a daily relationship with my kids, period. Right. Like, I'm not going to put time frames on it. I'm not going to beat myself up when, I look at my phone here and there. Like, if I have a committed daily relationship with them, it means I'm asking them, what did you learn at school today? What did you fail at today? What are you proud of yourself for today? how were you nice and how were you kind to other people? And by asking some of those questions, and it's usually at bedtime for me, I get that real good connection with them. And to me, I know looking back on my childhood, I would have traded 15, 20 minutes of really good connection all day long for, the hours and hours and hours and hours I spent in the backyard as my dad's gradually getting more drunk and more drunk and more drunk throughout our 3-hour basketball game. And he's just, by the end of it, just clobbering me as a little boy, you know what I mean? So 3 hours can be spent doing that, or you can be 15 minutes, so it's not about the time. So beat yourself up on the time. It's just that quality, committed relationship. And hopefully that gives you a small enough aim to where it's not so overwhelming if you slip up a couple days.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's really great advice. It's about the quality time. I was thinking the same thing when you just said, you only get 45 minutes to an hour. And sometimes that's our life too. Even though we're not training camps, we're here at the office. And like Devan said, it's about the quality time that we spend with them and making the most of it. And also, we're really intentional about telling our kids what we're doing when we're not with them, right? And so they can understand what that purpose is and what that hard work equals, because those are the best life lessons. Some of the greatest lessons I have as a kid is my mom's hard work and where it got me and where it got us as a family. And so I kind of try to put myself sometimes 20, 30 years down the line, what are my kids going to say about me when they were young, and what work ethic and values are they going to have because of this work I'm putting in today. So sometimes, when I do feel that guilt, I'll go there in my head. And but yeah, we're super intentional about saying hey, I'm gone, I'm working because this is what I'm out there doing. You're helping people, you're impacting people, you're teaching them confidence, you're making the most out of, that purpose side of it. So
last thing I would say is this, I strongly believe this, that working hard, as long as you're happy, is something that your kids will admire down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Working hard and coming home and complaining about work, that's how you're going to ruin their psychology. So work as hard as you want, as long as on your way home, pump your jam up, and when they run at you, pick them up and spin them around, no matter how tired you are. And I feel like those are the things they'll remember when they're, at least that's my game plan.
All right, I got a question.
All right.
So I was gonna have one. So how did you get the name Burn? What stuck inside of you was this is the name that I'm gonna choose for my company. This is what I like. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to pick out a name for what you want to do, or what company or what thing you want to do. So it's kind of hard.
It is very hard. It's very hard. So when I was first creating Burn and getting started, it was November 2011, and Morgan just got a promotion to Kellogg's, to this area. We were down in Naples, Florida. So I have this purple notebook that I started writing in as soon as I realized that when I moved to come meet Morgan a few months down the line, after I finished out my personal training relationships, that I was going to start my own business. So the first thing I did was opened a purple notebook, and I just started writing down a bunch of names. And there was Devan Klein Fitness, Charlotte Fitness, Ultimate Fit. It was a bunch of just random names.
Ultimate Fitness Formula.
Yeah. What I realized and Burn was somewhere in there. What I ultimately realized was that it didn't matter. And Nike is a dumb name. Think about that. If you didn't know what Nike meant, everyone is an athlete, I'm going to inspire everyone to move their body. If you didn't know what Nike meant, you'd be that's dumb. Yeah. Apple. Who names their company after a fruit? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I started studying all the great companies, and I realized that the logo wasn't the brand. That branding is much deeper than the logo, that the logo is just a symbol of the brand, but the brand is what people feel. So when they hear Burn, what are they feeling? That's what I was really focused on. So honestly, I didn't care about the name. I didn't care about the colors. The only reason we picked blue is because everything in North Carolina was blue, and I was like, hey, unless we can't go wrong, the Blue Devils, it was the Charlotte, the Panthers, it was the Charlotte Bobcats were the NBA team at the time. Everyone's blue. I mean, UNC's even blue. They're different shades of blue, but everyone's blue. And then I realized later that blue, actually, the reason the oceans are blue is because it's the strongest color. It's the strongest color that radiates from the sun. It's the only one the atmosphere can't filter out, which is why the oceans are blue and it reflects blue. Anyway, that's my cool answer. That's my cool answer, but my real answer is because everything was blue and because I was a fan of speed over perfection. Yeah. If you go study the history of this brand, it's all about move, act, go, fast, fix the plane while it's flying. You don't build otherwise. Well, I could have been sitting around and contemplating whether I wanted to be Burn Fit or Burn Boot Camp or Charlotte Burn. Meanwhile, while I'm doing that, there are other people working and there are other people getting shit done, and I'm just contemplating over my own subjective ideology of what is best. Yeah. You know, Nike, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because at scale, a brand is what people feel. When y'all sit around and you guys have this conversation around a table, being good trainers and eating your 40 grams of protein, right? You will talk about Burn and what it means to you. So listen to this. This is interesting. So in essence, each one of you has a different representation of what the brand means to you. So theoretically, we have hundreds of thousands of brands because it's the personal interpretation of what it means to somebody else is what branding really is. And a lot of people get that confused. A lot of people think marketing is branding, like logos and names and colors and signs and copy. All that stuff matters, and all that and the cumulative result of all of those thousands of different verticals in marketing and sales equals brand. So it's an interesting question. Thank you for it. Is that helpful?
I asked that because I was so my plan was to be an entrepreneur as well, coming out of college, and I started trying to build up my clientele and stuff like that where I was in college. So I was training people in college as well with my CPT. And I also was trying to just gather out more people and just build a brand. But I never just got to that, just finding that right name. Like you told me, it doesn't matter. But to me, it did. And I just needed someone to tell me, hey, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that, because that gave me an extra push right there for you just telling me that. And then you're wiser into this company because you had this company for so long now. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It's all about what we focus on, right? We have a finite amount of focus, and if I'm focused on branding, if I'm focused on what the logo looks like, right? I'm not focused on lead generation and marketing and what this business is about is really touching people's souls, right? All the technical stuff about training, about business, whatever. We can learn that as we go. The intangibles, the things we can't teach, the things we can't learn, is how to connect with another human being empathetically and to reach into their soul and say, listen, I got you. This is me and you. And that at the end of the day, that's all business is. Business is just exceeding the expectations of how much people thought you could help them. So really, the fundamental thing I was focused on back then when we were building the business wasn't the logo. It was helping every person that we would come in contact with be a better human being for just having had an interaction. And if we could do that, we didn't need to know much else. We just knew we would be successful in the long run, and we just had confidence that we would figure it out. And we knew we needed to partner with people like you all who could, really take that message and who could spread that message and create a really big scope of what Burn Boot Camp meant to people. And so thank you back, because without you all, without our trainer, and I mean trainer specifically, without you all, this organization is just the shell of itself, right? We are the heart, we are the soul of the organization. We help members overcome the things that they never thought they could. We have people transform their lives. We have people that didn't have a design for themselves, and now 3 years in, they have a community, they have love, they have encouragement, they have belief, they're thriving, right? Because of that, they might go out and start a new business or get a new career or find a new relationship, and it starts to become this lifestyle. And we have to do it together. It's the two-way street. And the reason that I stepped off the floor, which by the way, I love being on the floor almost better than anything besides one-on-one date night with her. That's the only thing I like better than the floor. My kids are going to watch this in 10 years and be pissed I didn't put them at number 2. But it is such a craft for me. In my experience at a box gym was so terrible, and I was so disappointed in the leadership, right, that I wanted to create an atmosphere where people who loved the craft of training and who believed in it as a craft and looked at it as a sport and there's a skill to this and I can get better and I can be the best. I just wanted an opportunity to be the best at something, right? That's why I quit baseball, because I realized that when I got released the first time, I got fired. That's what released, it's a soft way to say getting fired, because I wasn't good enough. That was the truth. I knew that I was never going to be the Cy Young Award winner, the best pitcher in the league, right? So I was like, I need to transition and go into this. And so now this is the craft. Training is the craft that I think that I can be the best in the world at, or at least have an opportunity to. And the only way that will ever become true is if I lead and bring people and make leaders with me, if that makes sense. So long-winded answer to your question, but...
So this is for both of you, because I'm sure you each have your own very unique individual answers. Right. Do you have a interaction one-on-one with a member on the floor or just kind of in passing that comes to mind right away as like the most meaningful one-on-one time or interaction that you've ever had with someone who's experienced burn in some way, shape, or form?
That's a great question. What's kind of the biggest transformation I've heard or the biggest testimony I've heard? And honestly, it's hard to pick one. Mm-hmm. Devin and I have had the opportunity to travel to, over 200 of the gyms. And it never fails that someone comes up and says that Burn Boot Camp has saved their life, changed their life, in all different ways. And so for me, I think I'll be more general and just say that the transformations that mean the most to me are not the ones that we see in a picture. The non-scale victories, I guess you could say, where we've truly transformed somebody, we've saved them, we've given them a new identity and a new confidence to go out and really live their dreams and their passions. And so nothing sticks out to me because I feel like I've heard too many and I just can't choose one. But you probably have one.
Yeah. I like telling stories, so I'll tell you a story. So in Huntersville, before the actual first brick and mortar, we were in a place called Fun to Be Fit. Mm-hmm. Fun to Be Fit was a gymnastics studio. We didn't have enough financial history to go get like a commercial lease. That was our next best option, was to sublease. And about 8 months in, it starts growing. Like Morgan's helping me train now. She's doing her full-time job and helping me in the mornings and in the evenings. And we're pumping. Well, we get to just a general Monday. I'm on the floor. At this time, there's no microphone. There's just two big old speakers, and they're like huge speakers, right? Like, so my voice is like constantly like this, and I'm just constantly yelling over the speakers. And well, anyways, I have just this 60-person camp on a Monday morning, and I'm doing my thing, getting into the setup. I explain the setup. I see somebody come in just a little bit late, and out of my peripheral vision, I just see them it's about 100 feet over this way, peek their head through a door like that. And I just caught them. As soon as I looked at them, they went like this, whoop, right behind the wall. I said, guys, keep going. I think I threw out like, hey, do a minute of mountain climbers. I'll be right back or something, right? So I ran over and I went around the corner, and there's this woman standing there, and she's deconditioned. She's like 370, 80 pounds at the time. And she was like literally like 1 foot out the door. The door was open. She was 1 foot out the door, and I like grabbed, can you be her? I grabbed her like this, and I said, and I got on her level because she's a little shorter than me, and I said, listen, you've been going that way your whole life. You're here for a reason. Do you trust me enough to go that way? And those are like the first things that I said to her. She didn't trust me, but she, at the time, but she wasn't confident enough to tell somebody like that no. And so she came into the gym, and the only thing that she could do that day was do chops up and down on the ledge. That was it. 7 sets. 3, 2, 1, go. Drop the ledge. 3, 2, 1, go. Right? 30 seconds. By the end of it, I said, so what do you think? Are you going to come back? She was smiling from ear to ear. She had never one time in her entire life had anybody encourage her, believe in her. She was the gal whose parents said, eat anything you want. We're big boned anyway. It doesn't matter. It's okay that you're okay. It doesn't matter if you don't feel good. You're beautiful the way you are, which is the exact opposite of what somebody wants to hear that actually really wants help. I gave her that hand, but I didn't just give her the hand. I looked at her in her eye, and I gave her certainty that we were going to do it. That day she showed up. She didn't go the other way. She came into the gym, she finished camp, and then she finished camp again and again and again and again and again. And in the first 12 months, she lost 170 pounds. The trailing 6 months after that, another 30, 40 pounds. She's still working out today around here, not as often as she used to, but she's still frequent. She's still a member, and she's kept the majority of the weight off. But what I really noticed in her, and this is really what allowed Morgan and I to like crystallize our focus on the fact that it's more important what you gain than what you lose, because she had lost 170 pounds, right? And I had started writing about this story in my book, Stop Starting Over, and I realized that I was writing a story of loss. I wanted to write a story of gain. And so what she gained was the ability to smile, hold her head high, have confidence, pick her chest up when she walked into the room, and not be the person that she always languaged in her head is the fat girl that nobody wants to talk to, right? And that was just an incredible, Morgan knows the gal I'm talking about, just an incredible story. And there's a couple specific things in there that really took her confidence from like this level to this level. I made her push my car down the street. Like I rode the brakes and I made her push my car for a mile down the street. Like how empowering is that? You just pushed a Dodge Challenger for a mile. You know what I mean? And there were a few intentional things that I would do like that along the way. And don't forget to do that. Don't forget to do those intentional things for your members just to show them what they're really made of, how badass they really are. And then don't forget to tell them when they do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That was probably my favorite story, just because if I would have let her go in that moment, I don't even know where Bern would be now, to be honest, because it was such a sharp moment in my memory, and it like literally was the pivot of let's not tell stories this way. Let's maybe we should be telling stories this way. And now we have that empathetic connection that resonates within the brand, and then now it's just permanent. Yeah, good question.
Second one's quick, don't worry. But all right, so
I'm not very quick. If you've realized that, if you're going to ask me a question,
I can ask a quick
I'm going to give you.
Luke told us you're out of hats, man.
Are we out of hats? Well, we did. Guys, listen to this too. If you're listening to this out there, we have some brand new hats in, and they are flat bills. I don't have one on, but they're flat bills. You can wear them backwards. You can wear them forward. They're on the e-com shop. We're getting ready to put them on sale, and I know you're a flat bill guy, so they'll be right up your alley, dude. Awesome. I promise. They're gray with the black bill and the Bern logo right here.
I'll be waiting for it. All right. So my real question, though, I'm going to be part of a brand new location. So I just want to know what kind of advice or challenges I would face. What's that first year look like, kind of, because I'm sure it'll be different than coming to a community that Bern's already established at.
Yeah, great question. So as a trainer of a new location versus an existing location, I would say your first year is going to be busy. It's going to be a lot of new faces that have never heard of Bern, never been introduced to Bern. So just always keeping that in the back of your head, of slowing things down sometimes to speed things up, and make sure that people really understand the why and why we're different, and showing them that through action. The first year is something I would give you all advice, whether you're in the first year or the second or the third or the fourth, never feel like you do have all this brand awareness. Like, so many people are craving that connection right now. Like, what is going on in your community that you can take it outside of your four walls? Like, I think you guys have probably heard about joint ventures and events and stuff like that. That is what's working right now from a lead generation standpoint. And so you guys all have responsibility as leaders of your gym to show up to that stuff and to be the face in a way, right? To be the leader that the community needs, and that you can bring that back into your gym and just learn to connect more people. So the first year, I think that's so important, to make sure that you're hitting a lot of those different things and not just expecting people to walk through the doors. You got to get out and bring them in. Don't just do that through social media, do that physically. But, lots of new members. And so those first 30 days especially, with the protocols, make sure you're just keeping that in the back of your mind and taking that time to focus on form and focus on safety and focus on, belonging in the space. This
is your year to establish yourself. You get first impressions, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to get a ton of first impressions in this first year. Probably many more people than you've ever met in a span of 12 months in your entire life. Thousands of people, right? Mm-hmm. Thousands of people, you're going to see that for sure. So it's like, here's your opportunity. Don't waste it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you just show up and do your 40, you're going to get 40 hours worth of value, worth of effort. You get what you put in, right? You give double that toward the same mission. You do more than you're asked to do, and you take it upon yourself to take the community under your wing. What I did when I started, like we did when we started, we didn't show up to make $1. Mm-hmm. We were working 100 hours a week and not making anything, at all. Mm-hmm. So it's your opportunity to put your impact on the market, right? Because you're going to see that ROI, that return on impact, for a long time coming. And it's your opportunity to grow yourself, right? So you can't forget to continue to develop yourself and continue to pour in every day. If you're not learning, you're dying. Right, so it's very difficult to do when you have both of those things to do in parallel, to take care of everyone else and then to also increase your knowledge too. But if you're not increasing your knowledge, then you're going to tap out at a certain point because you're only going to be able to help so many people because you only have the communication skills that allows you to help so many people. And so it's getting out in front of people, like she said, pitching your way into the news, pitching your way onto TV stations, doing live shows on Facebook, on Instagram, on all the possible platforms that you TikTok. And I could name like 37 other things that you could do, but you get the idea. You get the idea, right? Like do more than you're asked to do, and then part of that is don't forget to work on yourself along the way. Yeah. And then you're going to be in a place for a year from now where you have so much admiration that admiration is going to give you opportunity. Because here's what somebody came up to me today, Abby, that's here at Burn University, and she said, Devan, I just want you to know how amazing Kayla is. I want you to know that Kayla is just like, she goes, I love her, and she squeezed Kayla, and she's like, I love her. She's amazing. She's on point. She's so nice. She's people first. She's all these things, blah, 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 blah. Kayla doesn't need to tell me that, right? Other people are going to tell me how Kayla has impacted them. You follow me? Yes. So your opportunity lies within how many people are telling the people who hold the keys to the opportunities that you want to have, how many people are telling them, hey, this dude is it. This dude is everything. And that's on you. And that's the great thing because it's all your attitude, all your belief and your effort, all the things that you can control, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very, very important. There's going to be some uncontrollables in terms of how many people you're seeing, especially in the first 30 days. But yeah, just get ready to strap it on. You have to make sure if you have these ambitions and your words are over here, that your actions are going to match up and align to that.
So I'm going to try to narrow it down from a broad question because I'm really curious about what the 5-year nutrition goal is as far as like nutrition products and what that looks like.
Do we have a pen in here?
Right.
Here, give me that pen right there. I'm sorry, the black whiteboard one. This will be great. Okay. So this is the future. I'll make this pretty quick, but this is the future of Burn Nutrition. Okay, so Pillar 1, as you know right now, we have supplements, right? Okay, these supplements are fitness-specific nutrition before, during, after. You learned all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Number 2, all right, is flash frozen meals. I announced this at Summit. We're going to be putting out an app that is going to empower all this stuff, okay? This is a phone, by the way. And these are burn branded meals, okay? And then the third one is you have the smoothie bar, all right? And then on the other side you have content in and out of gym, focus meetings, podcasts, you name it. So you're gonna have supplements, which we have now. We'll continue to do new flavors. We'll continue to do seasonal flavors and test the growth within those categories. But we really like the categories that we're in with the Afterburn bar, the whey and plant protein, our intra-workout with Replenish, and then our Ignite products. And then you're going to have these meals, okay? This is flash frozen burn meals that your franchisees are going to be able to sell, all right? And so you'll have that, and then you also have Smoothie Bar. Now, Smoothie Bar will take a little while because we didn't start with one, and so all the locations that are open now will have to do like refits and things like that. All right, so you put this into, and this will be the exciting part for you. That's pretty straightforward, right? And this is going to empower what's called an EFT. That just means auto ship. That just means more money that comes in off people's credit card because they signed up for that product or that service. Okay, so now, this is where you come in. All of this, right, will be available really slickly. That's a stupid way to put it, but a very slick design in here that's going to empower all of that. They can shut it on and off whenever they want, order more, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, we need now you to come in, okay? And we need you to then teach these people how the hell they should be using all this stuff. Okay, so number 4 will be Burn Nutrition Coaching. Okay, meal plan coaching. So you'll be able to say, all right, membership, in some point in like 2024, all right, membership, listen, I've got 15 or 20 spots open with my time. I can only take 15 or 20 people, and it's $150 a month. And, you know, there's some economics in there for you, obviously, as well, to administer the services. But then you have a personalized coach that you can buy, and then you can infill their meal plan with this. This app will also be designed with the same database that Lose It has. You know, the big database of food that you can pull from anything. Ours will be designed with the same database that Lose It has. And so you can pull the supplements in here, you can pull the meals in here, you could pull any regular organic food in here, and you can start to give them their daily meals. And then you have a little chat screen at the bottom, and you guys talk back and forth down here on a weekly basis. So this is very important to empower that, which is why it's coming afterward, or else it's like Wild Wild West. That's the future of Burn Nutrition. Is that helpful?
Makes me stoked.
Is that stoking you up? Yeah. Good. It's always easier to draw like diagrams when you get technical questions like that.
I was just curious, what are your guys' fitness backgrounds? I'm just curious, like, where you guys came from and how it started for each of the two of you.
Yeah, I can start. So my fitness background is I played sports all my life. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and then I was done and over sports and went to college, got my food marketing degree, absolutely nothing to do with fitness. And Devan convinced me to get my CPT so he could have a break. And I pretty much learned everything I know through him. I was a trainer for 5 years at my own gym, and then I transitioned, obviously, to COO and now CEO. That's about it.
Thanks, babe. You never gave me credit publicly for influencing your fitness that much. Thank you.
You taught me a lot.
Makes me happy. My love for fitness started when I was a little kid because I always wanted to play in the big leagues. Like, that was my dream. Like, I have this little picture when I had like puffy hair and I had a little baseball bat and I'm missing the ball, ironically. But that was always what I wanted to do. My dad loved sports and it's just everything to me. So I'm a skinny little kid though, you know, and I'm good. I'm a good player early on, but I get in junior high and high school, and I'm like $155, $160. I got to put on weight, or else, you know, mass equals velocity in baseball. Like, the more you weigh, the more meat you have behind the ball, the faster it goes, generally speaking. And I wasn't going to go play Division I unless I hit the weights really hard and got up to like 185. The scouts weren't going to look at me unless I was 185. So my freshman year of high school, I went into like all in on the strength and conditioning program. Basically taught myself, self-educated on how to eat to grow and gain mass. I was eating like 5,000 calories a day, like all of my high school career, and ended up doing that, gaining weight, putting velocity behind the ball, and getting picked up to go to a scholarship to go to Central Michigan University, which when I got there, I continued that because it's what got me there. I was never even the most talented there, still continue to work hard. I got to 200 there, 205. My velocity went up another 3 miles an hour. Now I'm throwing 92, 93 miles an hour. And the professional scouts are now looking at me, right? So the whole time I'm in college, I'm also learning from the best strength and conditioning coaches in Division I sports, right? I mean, some of them, they're not like the ACC or the Big Ten, but they're mid-major conferences, super smart people, and really articulate, learned a lot there. Well, then I went to the Giants, and that's the best in the world. And I got to work underneath. I'm obviously a gym rat, so I'm always in the gym. Baseball guys are not gym rats, by the way, just so you guys know, if you're not familiar. So the guys that are in the gym get all the time and attention of all the strength and conditioning coaches. And so I'm constantly in there in the training room. I'm also always hurt, so I'm always in the training room. And really just being able to pick their brain is when I really started to learn nutrition, because they were like really good there. Honestly, I have to give credit to P90X. I did P90X like 3 times in a row, and I learned a lot about programming itself, like fitness programming from Tony Horton, and I got to give the OG credit where credit's due. And then there's a buddy of mine named Pete Feridian, who is a certified personal trainer and a bodybuilder, who taught me the power of like hypertrophy and EPOC and all the technical stuff. So between all of those experiences, I've just kept that ongoing knowledge going. I don't have like an exercise science degree or anything, but I maintain my NASM, and I'm not the most technically gifted when it comes to like kinesiology or like physiology necessarily, or anatomy, but results are my resume. That's the way that I think about it. And I know enough to keep people safe and keep people progressing and to get them confidence. And that's what I try to focus on, not the technical, nuances of an exercise, science textbook or something like that. Although I have mad respect for people that can like just regurgitate those things off the top. It's like incredible. It's like Spanish to me. But anyways, that's my influence. Baseball. Baseball. That's one word. That's a way to consolidate that answer for sure. Baseball. I got to give Isaiah some content here. You know what I mean? Like, we're in here trying to make podcasts and stuff. I got to be interesting. Anybody else have anything that was on their mind? If not, I have some questions for you if you want to. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Nicole.
I mean, mine's going kind of similar off to Morgan's, but I know Burn's always like evolving, growing. Where do you guys want to take it in like the next few years? Like, where do you see it going?
First of all, you had a killer camp the other day. So,
thank you.
Yeah, that was legit. It's awesome. Good.
Yeah, so where do we want to take Burn? Yes, you guys
Besides
are
the
not
moon.
wrong, the moon,
Besides
yes.
the moon.
But really,
Mars.
that's just a metaphor for us, you know, obviously that the sky is not the limit for us, you know, and we're going to take this thing as far as we can go. And one thing Devan says often is we want to dream so big that we can allow other people's dreams to fit into ours. So from a practical standpoint, we have a lot of opportunity in the U.S. still. As far as, you know, developing units. And then from there, we're looking to go into Canada in the next 18 to 24 months and go international. So we won't do that too fast where we outgrow our operations because the focus is in the U.S. So I think that's from like a practical standpoint as well as what are we going to be doing digitally. So we're going to continue to remain focused on what that live stream looks like and what that on-demand content can look like because the reality is we want to serve as many people as we can and we know that there's some people we can't serve with our boutique, you know, fitness model. So how can we meet people where they're at and make sure that the brand is still impacting them, whether we're training them on a free YouTube, we're charging them for workouts online, or they're walking through our doors.
You did a really good job. She's got vision inside of her bones.
Yeah, I do.
She just doesn't
I have
give
vision
herself enough
for the
credit.
operations. He has vision, you know, that's higher here. But I stay visionary.
I'm really bullish on like the fitness and nutrition ecosystem that we want to build. Like just having that one-stop shop where somebody can become a member and they're like, why would you even want to go anywhere else? You know, like it doesn't make sense, you know, unless you had like some sports specific reason. Like if you're just a lifestyle athlete and you just want to look good, feel good, you know, be mobile, like bringing live streaming and bringing on-demand technology to you guys. Also having you be able to contribute to that and upload to your own location is a super slick piece of technology that we're building. I know, yeah.
First time I've heard that one.
Well, yeah, you just stay focused on the Burn operating system, and you know I'll stay focused on all the other things. But yeah, it's an already existing company that just needs they don't have any subscribers. They just need a platform to get them some people. So they've built the technology. It's really really cool. So that is going to be like the biggest thing that I'm focused on in terms of the nutrition and fitness ecosystem, because to me, that is not only will our locations have the ability to sell that in their serviceable market areas, but we're going to be able to sell that abroad, and that's going to lead to lots of franchise development globally. So I'm really excited about continuing to let the fitness product lead the way, and I'm a strong believer that you don't need a differentiator when you're as good as we are at fitness. It is the differentiator, yeah.
So my question is, were you guys always so confident that Burn would develop as it is now, or were there ever like major doubts that it wouldn't be anything?
No, there's never been doubts that Burn's going to become, you know, what it has. I think in the beginning, me personally, I saw us like building out the like Charlotte market and then maybe Raleigh, you know, like staying within the region. I didn't necessarily, because we hadn't decided to go franchising yet. But once we decided to go franchising, I haven't really looked back on doubting ourselves. I think the pandemic challenged us a lot because we had to close every door. So there was a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainty. But that has now given us the confidence that, hey, if that can't even slow us down, we grew during the pandemic. There really should be no reason why we don't accomplish everything we set out to. So.
Yeah, my answer is never, not one time ever did that thought ever cross my mind. And I'm just being honest, right? Like no,
you have to have that mindset in the positions that we're in, because if you let that doubt creep in, or it's all over, you know? Because if you have that mindset, then one little thing's going to knock you down, and then it's a house of cards, and then everyone below you knocks down. And we're not going to allow ourselves as leaders to even have that mindset, because there's so many people that rely on us. There's so many people that put their livelihoods on the line to open a Burn, their 401k, their children's savings. And so Devan and I don't wake up with doubt. We wake up with confidence because we have to. Because the consequence of not doing that, in my opinion, is letting other people down. And I care too much about the people that are in this brand. So, and that includes you guys.
I think before we had 5 open, I said we were going to do 500. That was my mindset at the time. And then we got to 300, I was like, hey, I'm going to stand on stage next year and say 10,000. And then I stand on stage.
He didn't tell me that. No, you did not.
Well, in my head, I had your permission.
Yes.
Like, at least theoretically, I had her permission.
Yeah.
But and now it's that. And here's the thing. You need to dream big, and you need to let those things that are inside of you out, because if you don't, it's just you're going to suffocate, right? And the only reason you wouldn't is because you care about judgment of other people more than you care about fulfilling your own dreams and desires. I mean, that's the reality. It's sometimes a hard thing to hear. And when you say what you want to do out loud, and you declare and put your stake in the ground, like, this is what I'm here to do, this is who I am, people are going to laugh at you. Mm-hmm. They're going to make fun of you. They're not going to believe you, because something deep down inside of them is so insecure that, like a crab in the bucket, they need to pull you back down to their level. Or you could use the metaphor like, don't build the biggest building in town by tearing other people's buildings down. And that's just human nature. And so that's why so many people don't open up to their dreams and realize their true potential, is because of what other people will think. And I think that's a big shame. It's really tough for me to see people hold something inside that I could literally see I can see it inside of you. I see right through you, that thing that you want to say so bad, you're unwilling to say it because of what mom thinks. I want to encourage you to be able to be independent, think for yourself, think originally. You know, I didn't have parents that really cared too much about me, so that was easier for me. I didn't have the downside of having like good parents or good people that cared for me that put pressure on me to be something that I wasn't. I just got to be me from the get, and so it's a struggle. I get it. Write it down on paper first. That might make you feel good. At least get it out on paper. And if you guys have something like that too, get it out on paper, make it permanent. There's something about putting it on paper that actually makes it real. And when it becomes real, then you have an opportunity to actually believe it. And unless you believe it, definitely don't tell anyone. Because the last thing that you want to do is throw something out there that you don't believe. Because you have no conviction toward it, you're not going to do it, and then you become the girl or boy who cried wolf. I'm always going to say I'm going to do this, but I never follow through on it. So if you're going to state your belief, which I think you should, and state your dreams, you should write it down on paper. You should believe in it, and really make sure that I have a conviction in my heart, and this is what I'm going to do regardless of what anyone else says when I say it. Well, this has been a pleasure hanging out with you guys, and thanks for your engagement and your questions. And you know, Morgan and I really appreciate you and value you, and you're the top 1%. I truly believe that. You're not here to learn like push-ups and pull-ups and squat form or kinesiology or anatomy. All your prerequisite skills and knowledge put you in a position to be a part of what I believe to be the super team in fitness. Whether this is a milestone for you or you truly want to be here for the long run, to be honest with you, I don't care. I want you to be here for the long run. I would love nothing more. I can't have an expectation of you to do that, because then I'll give away my happiness to you. Then if you leave, then I'll be like, oh, they were so awesome and they left, right? But I just want to be real and transparent, right? Like, who talks about leaving when they're at a Burn University here to like onboard? But I want you to know that regardless of what your career path is and what you choose, I hope and I hope we can provide an environment that excites you in the long run and provides something that you can continue to run toward and motivates you and gives you that determination, that extra motivation that you would need. But if life changes, respect the brand while you're here. Do everything you can for the brand while you're here. Because even if you don't, we're going to do everything we can for you while you're here to become a better human, a better person, a better trainer. And down the line, wherever you may go, wherever you may end up, I hope each and every one of you are multi-unit franchise partners one day, right? In crushing life. I'd love nothing more than that. But if that's not the case, I want you to know that I truly appreciate your time in this brand and helping us get to our goal. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here for a long time. So you guys make the brand better for being here. So thanks for your time and attention at Burn University. And give it to Luke. Give it to Luke right now. There we go. Because Luke's my guy. Luke, you would take us out. 2 claps on 2, all right?
2 claps on 2. 1, 2.